Morning, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, July 15th, 2026, and I am here at the lower point of Hill 980, getting another early start today, because today is going to be a very hot day. Just barely turned 5:30 in the morning. I'm planning on trying to hike up to Hill 980. I did hike up there once before back in early 2024, but I'm going to try to see if I can go beyond it and link up with a couple of neighborhood streets and hit another small summit beyond Hill 860. So I'm gonna have to link up with some suburban streets to do so. I believe this is part of the Lakeside Linkage Preserve, an extension area of it. That's where I was last week. Over on that area in the foreground, not those big ridges in the background. Part of the Lakeside Linkage Preserve there, the main portion. Did a pretty thorough exploration of that area. Today, I'm going to try a beat the heat hike and see if I can get up to this one here and another unnamed hill. Peak 860. See if I can legally do that. Right now I'd say it's about 66, 67 degrees, so I'm getting started early before sunrise, in order that I do not have to do this in the heat. I made sure when I got up this morning I stayed up and didn't fall back asleep. I mean, tomorrow's supposed to be a little bit cooler. We'll see. Okay. I'm going to branch off to the right. When I get by this patch of laurel sumac here, I'm going to branch off to the right. On the way back, I might try to take an alternative way back down, possibly. So, to access this portion, it's pretty easy. Free parking, ample space. I don't think this gets extremely highly trafficked here. I've only done this on weekdays, but what you do is you're going on Los Coches. When you're on Los Coches Road, you're going to turn west onto Wellington Hill, and you're just going to follow Wellington Hill all the way up until it bends. Follow Wellington Hill uphill until it bends, and you see an open space preserve on your right. Just find some parking near that. I forget what road it becomes as you curve. Well, I'll throw that on the screen. But so I've done this hill once before, back in the beginning of 2024. You can look in the description for a link to that if you're interested in watching it. Like I said, I'm planning on extending it, going beyond if I can. So it should be a relatively quick 300-foot gain to the top of Hill 980. And then I'm going to go ahead and follow the water tower service road. Try to get to a street called Melrose Lane. So I'm going to walk along that, branch off to the right to get to Skyrim Drive. Then I'm going to pass over another small hill that's about 900 feet in elevation, where there's another water tower. So this could be potentially a 3-hill day. So I'm going to count that because it does have a rise and a dip. And I believe that hill's going to be at the summit of Skyrim Drive. After that, I'm going to dip down and branch off to the left to get to Bridonella Trail. It's going to be a very short walk on Bridonella. And then I'm going to turn left onto that. And then as that ends, I'm going to branch off to the right to this interestingly named Gay Rio is the name of the street. Is it place, or is there a couple different streets named Gay Rio? It's Gay Rio Way. So I'm going to branch off, go to Gay Rio Way, and try to get on a trail that doesn't look like it's fenced off. And then that should take me up to Hill 860. So today could be a 3-summit day, 3 mini summits. Peak 980, Hill 900, and with the water tower along, I think, Skyrim, if I remember correctly. And then Hill 860. All right, well, that's the plan. Let's see if getting to this one's no problem. Let's just hope that I'm not going to have any private property hindrances on the next one. Well, especially Hill 860. All right, well, enough yapping, more climbing. See you along the way as these views are opening up. Okay, don't be too worried about this trail split. As I was finishing my last clip, trail splits off right and left. You're going up towards this area. Don't be worried because the trails that split re-meet. I remember last time I was here, passing through these gorgeous laurel sumacs. Very beautiful. I remember this spot. It's definitely a nice little treat. So you would think with the flowers of these foothill California buckwheats here, Erigonum fasciculata foliolosum, and the appearance of the flowers on these guys, the broom matchweed, and that's Gutierrez sarothri. You're thinking that would be going into late August or September, but everything started blooming early this year. So that's why even the buckwheats are already starting to brown as we're going through late summer and even nearly early autumn. And that's still about 2 months and 7 days away, I think. We're barely at the midpoint of July. So it's kind of crazy in a way. Yeah. This is a very pretty trail. I remember the last time I was really psyched about the climb I took. And that was when things are starting to green up. It was during the rainy season. It's pretty dry out here now, but still very scenic and very beautiful. You'll have a lot of California sagebrush to keep you company on this hike as well. And there are patches of white sage here and there. There is some monkey flower periodically around here. Coming here in the later winter months, like when I did it, well, I did it in early winter, it was the beginning of January. But coming in February, probably especially March, is when you're gonna probably have a lot of wildflowers coming up around here. So one of these days I'm gonna have to come visit this hill in late winter, early spring, preferably during a very good rainy season. I can kind of see some of my route here. For instance, that right there should be Hill 900. Not the one way in the background, but the one with the huge water tower. I think that's Hill 900 right there. And I can see what I believe is Skyrim going up there, so that's where I'm planning on going after this. And then Hill 860 is, I believe, that one right there above that water tower. So that would be my third goal of the day. But first, let's focus on getting up this. There's some pretty good views up here. Look at this. And we do get some splits. I'm pretty sure it meets up. Yeah, I think I can see it meeting up. This is just to get to Hill 980 is barely about a mile of a hike, round trip. It's a it's a pretty easy hike. It's not super steep except the access road leading up to the tower, water tower, which is a little steep, but it's a very short hike and one that is very enjoyable. We do get a lot of side trails or ones that braid and meet up. We're just about at the road right now. What we're gonna do is, first of all, gonna meet up with the road, turn left, and go up the pavement up towards the water tower, not too far away. On the way back though, I'm gonna go there, down, and I'm gonna branch up on the side. There's a dirt trail, because I think the gate's locked over down there. So I'm gonna do that, skirt around that, and join up with Melrose Lane to continue the hike. But yeah, here we go, along the steep road here. Some very beautiful laurel sumacs here. And as they come in here in the late winter and spring, you get the monkey flowers. These are probably Diplacus australis, but there's a fair amount of it here. Look at this laurel sumac. So I'm taking the route up the same way I did the first time. On the way back down though, if I beat the heat, have enough time before the heat kicks in, I might look around and explore some of the other side trails and try to get some more footage of the area. All right, well, I'm gonna keep climbing up and I'll see you near the top. Okay, let's go ahead and look for the summit. I'm going to take this path here. On this side is a summit, high point. It's going to be on this side here, if I remember correctly. Oh, it's nice and fragrant up here. Get some good viewfinders up here. Get some good views up here. Alright. Here's a good little lookout before we actually hit the highest point, which is just over by the shrubbery. I'll tell you one thing. Temperature is pretty comfortable out here, but I'm sweating profusely. And it's because the dew point, at least the dew point where I live in Santee, is about 64 degrees with a humidity about 90%. And the dew point is what makes this time of year sometimes kind of uncomfortable, even early in the morning. And it's only uncomfortable because I'm all sweaty and wet. When you got temperatures, well, the temperature, like I said, is about 66, 67 degrees. Temperature itself is fairly comfortable, but the dew point at 64 degrees makes it feel a little muggy. Okay, well, here we are. Peak 980. This is it. Peak 980 here in Lakeside. All right, so I'm going to do a short viewfinder up here, a quick one. I will have to migrate around the water tower a little bit to get the southeastern quadrant. But let me get my summit selfie first, and I'll point out some views of our local area. All right, well, it's time for some views. I'm going to start off by looking northeast, just to the left of the water tower. And that over there, a very prominent landmark in our skyline, El Cajon Mountain, right there, at about 3,675 feet. And then, its neighbor, El Capitan Peak, which is about 200 feet lower, about 3,367 feet. And that is right there is Wiedenhoff Peak, or Silver Dome 2. Okay. Now we're looking north towards the Powell Range. And the pointy one there is Iron Mountain. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. You can't see most of the other ones, but the one left of it, that gentle sloping one, that's Woodson Mountain. That's over between Powell and Ramona. I can see Black Mountain and Rancho Penasquitos, but you won't see it on camera because it is hazy over that way. Now that's looking more. Well, let me go back over that way, because there's my ultimate turnaround goal right there, Hill 860, right there above that water tower, and then that's Hill 900 right there with that big water tower. That's my next goal. And then we got the Sky Ranch community between Lakeside and Santee. Santee's on the other side of this ridge, and that's Rattlesnake Mountain right there. So now looking roughly west towards Santee and El Cajon, that's the Bostonia neighborhood. And now we're looking southwest towards Mount Helix there in the center, in the haze. And then looking south, of course, San Miguel Mountain. That's one I point out a lot because it's a very prominent landscape, pretty prominent landscape marker there. And there's the long ridge of the San Isidro Mountains in the background there. Of course, the high point being Otay Mountain. And then we got McGinty Mountain poking up right there. That's the McGinty Mountain area. Very cool. And then you can see Lion's Peak over by Hamul, over to our southeast. And let me go around the tower a little bit and point out a couple more. This is actually slightly higher here, I think. But let's go ahead and I guess this is actually the summit area here. It's a little, it's pretty close. All right, so now let's look out to our east. And that in the background is Viejas Mountain. Way in the background. That's Viejas Mountain. Way in the background. Actually, I think this one in front actually is McGinty Mountain. I don't know what I was tripping. I cannot believe I did that. That's way past Hamul over there. I was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe. Yeah, nah, that's not it. Okay. So, yeah, I think I was right. McGinty should be that one over there. This one in front is Flynn Peak from Flynn Springs. Yeah. Okay, I thought geography was a little off right now. So the one in the background, far background, is Viejas Mountain over by Alpine. And this here is Flynn Peak above Flynn Springs County Park, which is actually not legally hikeable anymore. And over here is part of Crestridge Ecological Reserve, another peak with a water tower on it. And that was formerly known as Peak 1763, but I think they lowered the elevation of that. But I'm just going to call it Peak 1763 for now. So we're looking east-northeast, and of course there's the Cuyamaca mountain range. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, get a little broader thing there. So we got to the right there is Hopashaw Peak, that little bump on the right shoulder. And then right there is Cuyamaca Peak, second highest point in San Diego County. And then that's Cherry Flat on the left shoulder of Cuyamaca Peak, and that's just under 6,300 feet. And of course, we got Middle Peak and North Peak on the left. So that should about wrap up our 360 viewfinder up here on our highest peak of the day. So I'm going to take a couple pictures up here, and then I'm going to start migrating down towards the road again and try to see if I can make those connections today. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I don't run into any private property concerns. It's definitely a possibility, but I'm hoping not. I'm going to get a good few hundred feet of elevation gain today. I have about 300 getting up here. About 300 feet getting up here. And then I should have probably about 80 feet to get up there, and then probably about another 80 to 100 feet to get up to there. So I'm just gonna go look around here, look around the summit area, take some pictures, and then start moving on to my next plan. On the way back up, I might loop around this. I might resummit it just so I can look at some other options to maneuver around this, because there are other trails that braid around the base of the preserve, and also some that go up and down this hill from other directions. I'm ready to leave the summit area now. So yeah, this is how you could tell our season's been jacked up this year, because we've had a record hot winter. So these plants probably have been thinking it's been summer for months already, even though May May was cooler than average. May was a little cooler than average. April, I think, was slightly below average temperature-wise. December, January, February, March were redonkulously above average. But it's been warm for so long that the broombaccharis here is already blooming. This is a male broombaccharis. These are dioecious. The male flower heads, this is a sunflower family plant, so these are composite flower heads. Each individual looking thing here is a composite flower head of discoid flowers. This is the male. The female ones are kind of look like little brushes. Those are going to turn into those akini seeds. Those real miniature dandelion looking seeds. This is a male. This is already blooming. Usually we don't start seeing this till late August and September, peaking generally in October and sometimes in early November. That's how crazy 2026 has been, that the broombaccharis plants some of them are starting already to bloom. I wasn't expecting to see those flower buds popping up, and well, those are actually opened up already. Here's a female. This is a female broombaccharis. Yeah, it's kind of small. This is a female here. This one will have the seeds. Yeah, I do like this summit because it is kind of cool. It's a pretty nice looking summit. Very nice looking summit. We got an oleander here. Ornamental oleander. Thanks to this plant, the aroma up here is very fresh. The dried grasses, the dried grasses and plants, combined with the smell of the California sagebrush, is very pleasant. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and work my way back to the road. I can actually get to the road via this cutoff here. We've got some black sage up here, but you can tell it's very dry. We haven't had appreciable rain since February. We've had little spurts of it in April and early May. We had some spurts of rain, but essentially not enough to recover the seasonal drying trend that normally occurs. Usually once things cure off and turn brown, it's usually pretty much a dead wrap or done deal. But you know, we do get a population of black sage up here. Like I said, it's very dry and dehydrated. When the rains come back, they'll rehydrate and we'll be back on and popping. I think this is where people probably use their bikes and stuff to jump over hills and stuff, little mounds and stuff, to get that adrenaline rush. Alright, so we're going to head back down. I guess this is part of Melrose Lane on Google Earth. So we're going to head down this, but we're going to keep going past the normal trail junction. I wonder if I can walk along this. There's a little, looks like there's a little use trail over here. I want to take this. See if I can. This is a very pleasant little hike. Like I said, if you're not looking for anything extremely long, you just want to summit something, get some pretty good views, pretty darn good views, honestly. Interesting. Get some pretty darn good views. You can just book it up here down from Wellington Hill Drive. I can see it's down there. That's Wellington Hill, and I forget what street that is, but once you get to that pull-out section where it curves, that's Wellington Hill, and it goes towards Los Coches. I'm not sure exactly where that goes. And then we got sun's rising over Cuyamaca right now. Right over just to the left of the peak. So you know, this time of year being summer, the sun rises to the northeast of us. So that's how you know that Cuyamaca is east-northeast of here. Whoa. Okay, looks like it's going to be a little sketchy over here. Wow, look at this beautiful laurel sumac. Just ruggedly hanging out over the top here. Let's see if I can get by this. Yeah, maybe not a good idea. A little sketchy there. I'm just going to go back up this way. Back to the road, but I kind of need to check out a little mini diversion. Let's go back on the road. Here's a black sage that still has a little moisture in it. Just gently rubbing the leaf. You know, getting that, oh, that is such an awesome aroma that plant has. That, the California sagebrush, they all just have such amazing fragrances. All right. So I'm gonna get back here, start heading down this, and we'll see how this goes. I'm hoping myself some luck to get up to that hill 860. Ever since I saw that, I was really intrigued by seeing if I could summit that. All right, see you along the way. So here's our return route when we're done. When we're done exploring the other possibilities. So that'll just, this little spur will lead right to that trail I came up. And now we get to look at some pretty cool looking little rocky areas here. And I'm gonna go skirt around the, I think I'm gonna try to see if I can skirt around the fence where that power pole is. And of course, I'm going to be a lot quieter because I'm going to be in a residential area, so any filming I do will probably be pretty quiet. Ooh, look at that little bluff right there. That's worthy of a picture. Yeah, sometimes these roadsides, they retain moisture longer for some reason. Look at this. We got California bush sunflowers, or California ensalias, still blooming and very verdant. This is what they usually look like in April, or maybe early May before they start desiccating. But yeah, look at that. This is another Asteraceae. That's not a single flower I have in my hand. This is a flower head. Those yellow petal looking things are the corollas of the ray florets. The little brownish yellow things in the center are the disc florets. So each thing is a flower head. Again, as I was mentioning with the broombaccharis. The broombaccharis doesn't have ray florets like this. They don't have radiate florets. Only disc florets. And we still have, ooh, we got this Scrophularia californica right here. California figwort going into seed right now. Those are seed capsules. Yeah, this is another really cool plant we have growing here in Southern California. It's another really cool plant. If you want more information and how to see the plant in bloom, check my spotlight on California figwort for more details on that. I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. Alright, so we're almost at the gate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skirt it up this way. Only they want private vehicles coming up here. Alright, so up here on this bluff, I'm going to keep it down a little bit because there's a house below us and I don't want to wake up anybody who might still be sleeping. And I'm going to go follow this over towards Melrose Lane, which is right here. Alright, so there's Melrose Lane. I'm going to follow that until I get to Skyrim, which should be up there pretty shortly. This was pretty easy. I didn't know if I was going to have to bushwhack or anything to get by this. But I'll see you on the next clip, because I'm going to walk down Melrose. Coming up on Skyrim. Let's see if this is going to be an issue or not. Not sure yet. There's a private road. Yeah. I see. That's exactly what I was thinking. I saw a bunch of things along there. Yikes. Yeah. I guess so much for that. Oh boy. That's why I was very cautious. Ah boy. Look at these young Mexican fan palms. Got some young Washingtonian robustas. Look at that. Look at these guys. Pretty handsome. Of course, we got queen palms. There's a taller robusta there. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is, now that I know that that's not going to work, I saw some really interesting looking cliff faces on the side of Peak 980 down Melrose Place. This is Melrose Lane. I'm going to turn right and head down Melrose Place to see if I can get some views of those cliff faces over there. It looks very interesting. I'm going to go take a look there. Let's see. This could be interesting. Let's see. So I'm going to head down. See, that's Melrose Lane. It's going to take me back to the Peak 980 area. I want to see if I can get some views of those bluffs. All right. Let's see. I just passed Sunview. I'm on Melrose Place. I think I'm going to follow this to the dead end, maybe. And then I'm going to re-access, and I'm going to try to hike around the preserve as much as I can. Yeah, I had to take a picture of that cliff band. Ooh, Audubon's cottontail hopping across the street. Oh, little buddy. Hello, little buddy. They're such cheerful looking things. Alright, so I think this is the cul-de-sac. So I'm just going to walk around this. Oh well. I really would have liked to get to those other peaks and do a hat trick today, but I'm just in such a good mood. Oh, this is a nicely landscaped. Ooh, a cork oak. Look at this. Quercus suber. This guy's got a cork oak. Wow. Beautiful. Here's the corky bark. Cool. Got a cork oak here. Yeah, I gotta admit, Lakeside, my neighboring cities are pretty neighborhoods around here. Respect. Yeah, there's that cliff band again. Interesting, yeah, so I'm going to guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hike as many trails in the preserve as I can. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hike back up to the summit and just explore. Well, look at that, Mexican Palo Verdes. Parkinsonia aculeata. Very nice. Here's a plumeria, member of the dogbane family, mostly tropical plants. And of course, temperates, American sweet gums. Pretty nice. Neighbor's got a plumeria and a nice stately stand of queen palms. And a sago, which is a cycad, not an actual palm. All right. Make my way back to Melrose Lane. Well, like this. Yeah, I passed by that Aleppo pine. It was only one of my pictures I took. It's that beautiful Aleppo pine. And then over here, got another Aleppo pine and a Canary Island pine. And they're two fairly closely related as well. Alright, so this is Sunview Drive going down that way. So I'm going to go head back into Melrose Lane, go back up towards the peak, drop down a different direction, and explore as much as I can today before the weather gets hot. I'm back at the end here. There's actually a bunch of people and their dogs going up here too. So looks like they're taking the trails too. Following them, but I'm going to be going down a different direction. Let's see. Re-enter. Hike up the hill. Back to 980. Should have at least another hour or two before it starts getting really warm. So let's see. So here I go, back up. These laurel sumacs, man. You can never get enough of these shrubs. These are some of the coolest shrubs we have. And look at their resin exudate too. Leaves a black stain on the bark. You can see that golden stuff there is the sap. People with very sensitive skin may want to avoid touching the sap because it might make it break out, but it's cool to look at, I'll tell you that. Oh yeah, I remember this, the rock and this foothill California buckwheat. Look at this. This does kind of look similar to the Santiago Peak volcanic. But I think it's some type of granite, I think. I'll try to see if I can get an idea of what we got going on here geologically. It is kind of interesting to find out about that, but I just love how this foothill buckwheat drapes over the rock. I love sometimes these road cuts and hillsides, rocks outcrop and everything, and you got these plants draping over them. Look at that. Such a handsome shrub. All the variants we have of Eriogonum fasciculatum, this one being Eriogonum fasciculatum verdifoliolacum, they're all really cool, really cool. This monkey flower still has some blooms on it. I'm pretty sure this is Diplochis australis. I'm pretty sure it's probably our dominant one, I'm assuming. It's kind of neat to fathom that. We still have a few monkey flowers still hanging on. I kind of have at home I have a yellowish orange, more like an orangish yellow one at home. And it's still blooming pretty nicely right now. This black sage has got tiny leaves on it. Oh, fragrance. That resinous aroma. The aroma of sage is one of the really, for me, I don't know if this is actually scientifically speaking, but it definitely, for me, it feels like it brings out endorphins, or at least some kind of positive bit. Yeah, this is a female broombacchus. I was talking about the male broombacchus near the summit. This is a female. See the flower heads with the stigmas and everything. They look like little brushes, and then they turn into these little tufted achenes with tufts of hair with the seed at the bottom. what an akini is. It's the fruit of the of the overwhelming majority of Asteraceae. Oh, look at this. This black sage is still really green and verdant. Ooh. This one's still very green. It's usually what it looks like in April or May. Not quite like what it would look like in February or March when it's raining a lot. But definitely does not look like mid-July. Something about these roadsides seem to hold in moisture longer. Here's a plant that makes coming here in March probably one of the best ideas, and it's partially dormant right now. And this is Eriophyllum confertiflorum variety confertiflorum. This is golden yarrow. It's in seed. These are the old seed heads, but it still has some green leaves. Some slight green down there. Again, Asteraceae. Now look at this baby buckwheat right here. I actually have a foothill California buckwheat at home, and it has one set of blooms on it. It's crazy. It's crazy awesome. All right, so I guess I'm gonna explore this area a little bit. I'm just about under the summit right now. I'm gonna try to see if I can get some more exploration out of this before we start roasting in the heat. And even if it starts getting warm towards the latter portion of this hike, I'm not going to be doing any more big uphills. I am a little disappointed. I'm disappointed in the fact that I couldn't make the connection to get up to Hill 900 and Hill 860, but not so disappointed to whereas it's ruining my day. Not by any long stretch of the imagination. Now I get to I guess instead of climbing a couple other hills, I guess I get to just lounge around and explore more of this little area. I'm going to try to see if I can find more trails and see if I can get down here. Let me see if this is going to be a trail here or not. It might be. There's an interesting little section down there I want to just check out for the heck of it. Again, because it's there. Yeah, there's this little flat area here. Just wonder if this area used to be a quarry or something. I wonder if there's going to be a trail coming down from this. It's a little slippery here. Yeah, so just got to be careful going down this. See, when I came up to this peak last time, I just went up and went down. But now that it's kind of off limits to be poking around where I wanted to go, I definitely knew that was at the back of a possibility at the back of my mind. I knew that was a possibility. So I was definitely prepared for that possibility, and now I'm down here. There's a little flat space here. So like I said, you can go local and find some pretty bomb spots to go explore. I don't know where I want to go next. This is a pretty cool area. Like I said, there are other trails that connect around this. I don't know if where I'm going is going to be an actual trail, but I'm not going to be blazing new trails. I do think this is a part of the Lakeside Linkage Preserve, but at least I want to explore what I can. There's a little gully right here. Yeah, there's no trail here. I want to get a few photos around here too. I knew there was more to this little. I knew there was more to Hill 980 than just a little set of trails, a set of two trails that led to the summit, which is obviously part of it, but just very curious. Yeah, look at this. Look at this foothill buckwheat stems, how they sprawl out. The bark on buckwheat is just really cool looking, brown and gray and shreddy. Think about these buckwheats, really cool. They're just really cool looking plants. And they're a very important source of nectar for bees. A lot of people like to grow buckwheat who keep bees for honey production. Buckwheat honey is supposed to be pretty good, I think. And buckwheat, a lot of buckwheats, I'm not so sure about the California one. I'm pretty sure it is, but I would do a little more research before assuming. But a lot of buckwheat makes good edibles, wild edibles. Let's go ahead and go back up to this little shelf here. We got some nice, you do get some, so this must just be a granite rock outcropping here. Must be what this is. This must be a mostly submerged boulder. Might be why it's like this here. A little bit of soil on top of it. Let's see if there's any trail over here. Might be. Let's go check this out. Now we are just northwest of the summit. I'm looking to see if there are any trails in the area that I can explore. Yeah, I don't think this is a trail either. But it's definitely a really cool exploration spot. Not that far from those cliff bands either. It's a very nice area. Definitely have to come back to this preserve in March and really see what's blooming up here. I'm gonna have to get a few pictures right now. This is absolutely beautiful here. Oh, look at this buckwheat. Look at this thing. This thing's extensive. Look at the stems on this foothill buckwheat here. This is amazing. This is why the micro details really get me every time. Just look at the structure of this thing. This is an ancient buckwheat. This thing's been around for a long time. What an absolute unit of a foothill California buckwheat. They have such beautiful stems. Look at it. That's about 3 inches wide. That's probably closer to 4 inches wide right there. This thing is an absolute unit. And look at this. This is a unit too. A lot of these are units. These are absolute units of buckwheats. Look at the stems on this one. Goes just to the right of these rocks here. Some of those stems are probably about 4 or 5 inches wide, or 4 or 5 inches thick. Scramble up these rocks a little bit. Absolute unit of a buckwheat here, I'm telling you. That is absolutely stupendously gorgeous. Oh no, we got a bird's foot fern right down there, Pelaya mucronata, variety mucronata. Oh, that is cool. Yeah, ferns can grow in this dry coastal sage scrub too. They're just not going to be very verdant until it gets wet again. But yeah, and then we got this side of the gully here covered in laurel sumac, going down towards all that broombacker is down there. Let's see. Let's see. Oh boy. I have to put this camera down for a second so I can scramble up this rock. My short legs, I had literally used my left knee for leverage. That was actually a really brief class 3 little move there. Here's some more of that Pelaya mucronata, variety mucronata. Bird's foot fern. Really cool to see that here too. So yeah, I put my left knee there, and then grabbed onto the rock with my left hand, pushed myself up, then got my right foot on the rock. So I guess you could consider that a brief class 3 move, even though most of this is class 2 to get up here. I just wanted to just scramble these rocks just to check it out. Look at this. It's just a garden of buckwheat around here. Really cool. A garden of buckwheat and boulders. That's why I kind of want to try scrambling up here. I haven't really scrambled a lot recently. I mean, I've done some brief class 2s, but sometimes practicing makes it easier for when I actually need to scramble to get to a peak. But this is a cool little boulder and buckwheat garden here. This is just so cool. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a granite spiny lizard habitat right here, because a lot of times those type of lizards, you're going to find them where there are going to be a lot of large rocks. Usually where there are large rocks and boulders, where you're going to find granite spiny lizards, and that's a lizard I don't encounter very often, even though it's not really a rare lizard. Just for some reason I just don't seem to encounter it a whole lot. And it's a relative of a lizard I see all the time, which is the western fence lizard. Western fence lizard is an absolutely abundant lizard in wild spaces, and all these people's yards probably have western fence lizards all around them too. They do well in human habitation areas. I occasionally get them in my backyard too, and they seem to do very well living in areas where human dwellings are. If you've got fences and bushes, you'll have western fence lizards most likely as well. Granite spiny lizards, you have to basically go to a very rocky, generally inland location. I've seen them. The closest to the coast I've ever seen granite spiny lizards as of today would be at Mission Trails Regional Park. I've seen them over there at Mission Trails. I've seen a few over there. Yeah, look at these rocks. Yeah, I like this. A little bit of natural awesomeness in the middle of suburbia. Yeah, I just like this. I like this spot here. So it's going to be time for a few photographs. All Alright, so rather than going down this is the one where I kind of did a weird knee leverage class 3 hop up this one. I just kind of came around and kind of just leaned up against this rock to keep my footing, and just down to here, back to the old buckwheats over here, and I'm gonna go back up this towards the summit area. So here we go, back up this. This is the way I came down, and I'm gonna start looking for an alternative trail to descend from the peak. So let's see how that works out. It's a little loose here, so if you decide to come down this, it's sandy. So just, especially coming down, it'll be a little sandy on the way down. All right, I'll take a look around and see if I can find another interesting descent. Okay, just about back on the summit area. I'm gonna start looking for some descent trails. Thought I heard a cactus wren. Okay, here's the peak again, where these rocks are. Now it's time to start looking for a descent route. Might have found one. Could have sworn I heard the sound of a cactus wren. Really cool sounding, kind of a squawky, raspy, squawky kind of voice. I actually saw one time I actually saw a cactus wren in person. Was actually on top of a post. That was back in May when I did Navajo Canyon. It was kind of squawking, and I zoomed in on it. Very handsome bird. That's the San Diego cactus wren. Yes. Okay, so this is a trail. I think this one will descend towards this area and kind of wrap around the side. So I might be able to even get a loop out of this today. But I don't see any cactus here, so I figured I thought they were exclusively nesting in cactus, but I haven't seen any cactus in this entire preserve. I haven't seen any cactus, but I could swear what it sounded like a San Diego cactus wren. The cliff bands. See, that's the end of Melrose Lane, or Melrose Place down there. That's where I kind of did a turnaround there. Yeah, so we're not that far above the cliff bands. I wonder if I can actually get over towards them. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, this has definitely had my peak climb of the day, but now I want to have my exploratory portion before we end this video. But yeah, I see there's a trail that goes around down there. It should loop back towards Wellington Hill Drive if I play my cards right. Kind of hoping that's the case. I'm going to take this little side chute here and see if this leads anywhere. Oh. Well, this isn't exactly the cliff band. I wonder if there's a passageway. We're above the cliff band is a little more this way. I don't think there's actually a trail here. Like I said, I'm not trying to blaze new trails. If I do see some kind of a pathway, I'll take it, but I'm not going to be blazing new ones. It's kind of like almost like a use trail here. Just kind of want to explore. Just want to see if I can access the cliff band That would be good class 3 practice for me. Is this the clip? No, this isn't it. It's a little further off, but I don't think there's really a pathway to get over there. But we do get a good view of this gully here. Again, I don't see any species of cactus. No coast cholla, no coast or western prickly pear. Nothing here. No cactus species at all. I'm very surprised. I'd expect to see, since this is all coastal sage scrub, I would have expected to see some form of cactus species here. But regardless, cactus or no cactus, this is a very beautiful area. Get some pretty good views off towards oh, you can even see downtown San Diego. Well, no, maybe if we're clearer, maybe. I could see off actually over by Grossmont College. I think there's a tower over near where Grossmont College is, not that far from the 125. Yeah, that's pretty good views from this hill. Alright, now I can't really see that well because the sun's right in my eyes. I'm basically heading due east. The sun is just over there. Heading east-southeast right now, actually. So I'm not going to go any further because, like I said, I'm not trying to blaze new trails. But did feel the need to explore this a little bit. I was hoping I was going to be able to pick up a use trail going near the cliff bands. I was very interested in looking at them from above as well. If there were a trail, I might even practice scrambling them, but there's no trail over there, unfortunately. At least not to my knowledge. Could be a cool way to practice my class 3 scrambling. But I probably would have needed to bring some protective gloves. Okay, well, let me get back on the main trail. Just felt like exploring a little bit. Okay. Oh. Yeah. I mean, for such a short peak climb, and the fact that I wasn't able to make the connections to get to the other peaks, at least not legally. It's a pretty short hike, and that's why I kind of wanted to extend it as much as I can. Unlike my last time I was here, I just booked it up to the peak and booked it down. Then I went to do another peak in another area. Drove off to another spot to do another peak, but that is a different story. This is a pretty cool hill. I like this hill. Let's see. That Lakeside does have some pretty neat little hill climbs you can do. It's only about a 10-15 minute drive from my house on surface streets. I don't even have to get on any freeways. So let's see. This is where it becomes kind of like a maze of pathways here. Let's see if I can find the trail going down. Might have to back up and turn around a couple times maybe. I'm not really worried about it though. I don't mind taking the extra steps. Really not in a rush to end this anyways. There's a pathway down there too. Looks like there's an old burnt house down there. Probably private property over there, though, I would imagine. Let me see where this goes. See if I can make the linkage. I'll see you on the next clip. Let me take a look at this. I'm not sure if I'm on the right course, but down with this California bricklebush and seed. Look at this. Berkellia californica, another Asteraceae sunflower family member with more of these tufted semi-dandelion-like zucchini seeds. It's Berkellia californica. You have a small population of it down here as well. Just wondering how far I can go. Very interesting slab of granite coming down here. Or slab of boulder. Must be a massive boulder under here. Yeah, I'm surprised there is no cactus around here at all. Kind of sad. Well, I'm not sad. I'm actually in a pretty darn good mood, but kind of sad not to see cactus here. This has got to be the appropriate habitat for it. Love exploring these areas. I'm pretty sure I'm off of the path that I would need to take to get around to the mobile home communities. It's fenced off down there. It's probably private property, I think. Right down there's California sycamores here. Somebody's got sycamore trees. Yeah, I was wondering what that was. I think it was that house down there. Looks like it burnt some time ago. Right down there. This is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool little side trip I'm making here. But yeah, this doesn't appear to be the trail to get down. So I figured just go as far as I think I could, explore what I could, and look to see if I can make the connection to get down the hill, find the actual trail this time to get down this. Pretty neat though. All right, I'll see you on the next clip. Take a look and see if I can find the actual trail. Alright, so I came up this side of the gulch. Basically went right past that painted rock. Made a beeline between that grove of sycamores and this. This might be the trail. I think this is it, I believe. Let's see, to get around this really awkward spot right here. Oh, it's not that bad. I remember this area, I think, looked pretty faint on Google Earth when I looked up the imagery. I'm just glad there's not a lot of trash up here. Might occasionally find a couple of things here and there, but it's not too bad. I think people in this area tend to be more respectful of nature. I'm sure these people don't want their natural landscapes getting trashed. I sure don't. I gotta remember, next time bring a bag out here. Bring a bag tight to my backpack so I can pick up litter myself. I kind of feel bad about that sometimes. I'd rather be part of the solution. Definitely don't want to be part of the problem, that's for sure. Look at that gorgeous laurel sumac right there. That is a luscious beauty right there. And a happy rented bird. That's the sound of happiness, in my opinion. Just hearing birds in general. Trying to avoid getting sun glare on the camera. Alright. There's our peak back there. It's not that bad. Pretty easy hike to get up there, and it's worth it, believe me. Here's another handsome laurel sumac. It's going into fruit. Yep. Little tiny mango-shaped drupes. In fact, this is related to the mango and the Anacardiaceae. Also related to the cashews and the pistachios. And the true sumacs in the genus Rus. This thing is full of fruit. What an absolute beast right here. Look at it. It's just, this thing has got thousands upon thousands of these fruits on them. They're not ripe yet. They're going to turn reddish and they'll darken and eventually harden and dry off. But this thing is just covered in fruit. This would be a great landscape plant, to be honest. So I'm going to very quietly skirt around this mobile home community and kind of curve around the back. I might extend it on the other side too, because I'm really enjoying my time out here. Alright, let's see. I'll see you on the next clip. It's very quiet around here. Very quiet. I'm not going to film too much, but I can smell a little sumac in the air. I love it. Good smell, good feelings. I'll see you on the next clip. Here's the first cactus I've ever seen here. It's a non-native Puntia ficus indica. Right at the base of this beautiful Peruvian pepper tree. I'm trying to find the trail. Trying not to get too close to private property here. Very nice. Trying to be careful here. Nice views in this canyon. I'm not sure if I think the trail actually goes over that way. I'll try to see if I can cut down through there. Let's see if I can do that. Pretty neat though. Turn around and see. Trail. Just very quietly. I'm gonna go down towards that bowl down there. Alright. I did kind of break trail just a little bit. Just to give that house a little bit of a berth. Just so I don't disturb anybody. Just didn't want to get too close. Just a little bit, just to avoid getting too close to people's houses. Deal with me walking by. But here's the trail here, just skirting the outside of this mobile home park. Pretty cool. This is pretty cool. A little tiny olive. Little tiny baby olive tree. Look at this little guy. Handsome. giant American agave. Agave americana, subspecies americana. And here's a white sage right here. Very fragrant. This giant American agave. Look at this giant one here. Here's a trail here. Pretty sure this will cut by that. I want to explore this a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Another olive tree. A pepper tree. Nice views of this little valley here. Live oak. Wow. Nice. Coast live oak tree. Nice. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take that other trail. Let's see. Here it is. This is it, right? Right past this giant American agave. Is that the trail? Yeah, this is it. So I'll take this back. Yeah, I figured I'd take this trail instead. It's actually been on this trail, but not this far out. Look at the peak. Right up there, baby. So this trail will actually lead towards the other trail. Should lead back towards Wellington Hill Drive. But I might explore just a little bit more too. I'm kind of curious. These little preserves are fun. I kind of wanted to get away from the mobile home community in case somebody comes out and gets crazy. Yeah, this is the part that's got a lot of white sage growing. A lot of white sage over here. Yeah, this is a very fun preserve. Very highly recommend a visit to this place too. Look how tall this Gutierrezia is. Yeah. There's always a chance that this is Gutierrezia californica too, but I'm going based on Tom Chester, Southern California botanist. He says that he, I think it was he who said basically everyone he's seen in San Diego County has been Gutierrezia saurothri. I'm sticking with Gutierrezia saurothri. But there's also Gutierrezia californica, and I think there's also Gutierrezia microcephala, but I'm not sure if microcephala is out here either. But most likely these are Gutierrezia saurothri, so that's why I'm sticking to that. I'm gonna go ahead and get into a nice bottle of water. Now we're getting to a really beautiful stretch of the trail here with tall sagebrush and sage and baccharis, monkey flower, laurel sumac. We're getting to a very beautiful stretch of this trail right now. Alright, so I'm at another trail split. By the, not that far from those laurel sumacs, there's a trail that goes uphill towards the peak. And I'm going to take this trail here and see where I can go with this. Like I said, I still feel, I'm not tired yet. This has been a very easy hike. Been a couple steep uphills and downhills, but it's a very easy hike. But it's also a very enjoyably relaxing hike. I made the business of climbing a peak, but now I'm in the business of exploring and seeing the sights along this. I'm going to take this trail and just enjoy it. Yeah, see right where those trees are? Right where those trees are is a trail that could take you back towards Wellington Hill. But I'm taking this fork that's heading east-northeast right now just to see what I can find going this way a little bit further. So let's see what I find. Well, first up, what I find, because it's beautiful southern honeysuckle right here, Lonicera subspicata variety denudata. Looks like the fruit's already ripened on it or whatever. Yeah, this is a honeysuckle that grows here. This is the most common honeysuckle I encounter here in Southern California. It does look like it might have some. Oh, I thought it had some fruit back there. Those are buckwheats. Yeah, this is a pretty nice honeysuckle. And then, of course, we do occasionally see these in the preserve. And we got right here is Rhamnus crocea, spiny redberry or spiny buckthorn. So, my question was answered pretty quickly, within seconds of the end of the last clip. So let's see what else I might find along this interesting little trip here. Okay, we got the next trail split here. That probably just leads up towards the mobile homes. So I'm going to take the left fork. Mobile home? Yeah. Probably leads to the mobile home community. So I'm going to take this trail back. There's the peak. What a cool place this is. I can't get over this. Got Anna's hummingbird up here, a female. Right up there. Kind of at the top of the blue elder. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, right there. You can see it. Looks like Anna's. I'm pretty sure that's a female Anna's hummingbird. Just kind of surveying her surroundings. Very beautiful. You know, the males are all the real colorful ones, but I think they're all beautiful. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, she's a beauty. Beautiful bird. Cool. I think we're almost back already. Unfortunately. I might see if I can extend it by going near that defensible space over there. Defensible space meaning, you know, where they clear brush within a 50 to 100 feet of a house. I think this place is fenced out to keep people from going in that canyon. I wonder if people have gotten hurt going in there, but there's this little erosion gully. And I think we got a Southern California walnut. Hello. Looks like we got a Juglans californica here. Okay, that was a nice little unexpected surprise. But yeah, I noticed this little area is fenced off, so people, I guess, don't go in that slot canyon down there. Actually, it'd be pretty cool to go in it, though. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. It sounds like it'd be a pretty cool place to explore. Now we're almost back at the trailhead. But I'm not ready to end this. I think I might go along that way too. Just to see if I can extend this a little bit more, because this is a wildly cool place. Surrounded by suburbia. It's just a lot of fun coming here. I got some more Rhamnus crocea over here. A population of beautiful spiny red berries here. Ooh, got something else down here that looks interesting. Another type of Rhamnus, another red berry. Is this a hollyleaf red berry? Let's see. That rattling sound you hear is a rentet. That rentet, it's like, I think it's a warning rattle or something. Yeah, this is a hollyleaf red berry here. So this is Rhamnus ilicifolia. Yeah, we actually got a hollyleaf red berry here too. Very, very close relative of the spiny red berry. And not a here in San Diego County, in my experience, not a super common find before the foothills and mountains. In coastal places closer to the coast, like in LA County and Orange County, I see this closer to the coast there, but yeah, it's not a super common find in the coastal parts of San Diego County. Coastal to western inland areas. That is Rhamnus crocea, yes. Rhamnus crocea, very common, sometimes abundant. Rhamnus ilicifolia, its cousin, not so. But yeah, this is a hollyleaf red berry, so we get side by side two close relatives. You can hear another, I can see a bunch of rentets flitting around in the shrubs too. There's some rentets in these bushes. There's not a lot of this in the preserve, but here's a toyon right here. Heteromales or butifolia. But yeah, there's some rentets. Yeah, I can see them. I don't see them super often. I'm trying to see if I can get close. But there's a rentet right in this shrub right here. There it goes. Camaya fasciata. Those are the birds that are making those rattling sounds. They're the ones you can actually see all the twigs moving around because they're hopping between shrubs. They're pretty sedentary birds. There's a rentet right there. Oh, there's a nice olive tree right here too. But yeah, there are a few rentets just flitting about in these shrubs. It's hard to get good footage of them. Check out this olive tree really quickly. It's like this one's been around a little bit longer. Look at this olive tree. This is a beauty. Oh, look at this. It's not a super old tree, even though it looks old. Because these things get real gnarly looking. Yeah. Staple of the Mediterranean diet, right here. Olea europea. This is a beautiful olive tree. This is gorgeous. They're not native here to Southern California, but they sure do well. Similar climates. But I think where they grow in Europe, I think they get a little bit more rainfall than here. Because this is borderline arid / Mediterranean here. That's a beautiful olive tree. These are beautiful trees. If you want to see some huge olive trees, Presidio Park in San Diego is a great place to see these things get huge with really monster trunks on them. Ones in Presidio Park, Mission Valley are absolute units. Alright, well, here's my car, but I don't think I'm quite ready to end this. There goes a rentet. Such handsome little birds. I think I'm going to go along this way for a little while. So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I just don't think they want people going in this slot canyon here. Well, I wouldn't say it's really a slot canyon, but it's a huge erosion gully full of broombackers. Alright, let's go around this way and see what else I could find. Okay, so I'm going to go branch off to the right this time and see what I can find along this direction. See if I can find any other surprises. But here's that little sign that says motorcycles and off-road vehicles. I'm guessing this is part of Lakeside Linkage Preserve. Now I got bush tits chirping around everywhere. Let's go see what we can find going this way. Ooh. Kind of Isocoma we got here. Isocoma menziesii variety Verninoides. Pretty cool. Coast golden bush already starting to bloom in July. Go figure. Another member of the Asteraceae, the sunflower family, by the way. Here's another use trail there. Here's another olive tree. This one looks older. Oh, this one's a unit. Oh, look at this. Oh, how dope is this? Look at this. This is a much older olive tree. Oh, this one's a unit. Gorgeous. Not very tall. But look at the base. Look at the trunks on this thing. Oh, buddy, this is gorgeous. This is a beautiful tree. Yeah, olive trees are gorgeous trees. Of course, I say that about every tree. But man, how do you not fall in love with trees, man? How do you not? And then here we go. We got a Monterey pine. Pinus radiata, variety radiata. Pretty surprised to see one this lush, this far inland. Yep. This is a Monterey pine. So we'll follow this trail, go along that way and see what else I can find. Pretty cool. Cool preserve. There's another use trail going up that way, it looks like. These birds going crazy. These birds are so much fun listening to that. I don't know what makes that sound. When I first heard that, I thought it was some kid messing around or something. And another cottontail. And another cottontail off in the distance. What we got going on over here? Pretty interesting. I might take the... I have no idea what makes that sound. I don't think that is a kid. I thought that was a kid at first. What a cool place. Oh, there's a toyon in there. Not super common in this preserve. But it has a toyon over there. Yeah, we got some more going up this gulch here. And I finally found it might be a native prickly pear cactus, finally. Cool. Yeah, we got some more toyons over here. That was cool. There was a hollyleaf redberry on the other side. Yeah, we definitely got some toyons here. Some type of prickly pear. I'm not sure if that's fully native or not. This is a supreme little place. Probably never crowded here. All right. Left fork or right fork? Decisions. Sounds like a cat almost. I'm gonna take the right fork. Big white sage here. Oh, look at this. Had a duck underneath it. The hell's making that noise? Probably a bird. I don't know. All right. What a cool place this is. Maybe it's a cat, I don't know. The little use trail's pretty cool. There are some pictures. Looks like this use trail just connects over to here. Yeah, that trail's overgrown too. Kind of had a nice wild feel to it. I don't know if this continues or what goes on over here. Not too sure about this. I don't see any trails going up. Guess I'll just go down this. I was thinking, oh wait a minute. It does continue up this way. Let's see. Beautiful place. trail kind of ends here. So I guess this will be my turnaround point. Wow, this has been pretty interesting, to say the very least. Alright, see if I find anything else on the way back. Brazilian pepper tree here. Very interesting. Basically found a little use trail here. See the water tower from here. Cool place. Look at that beautiful Aleppo pine with those Washingtonia robusta fan palms. It's Mexican fan palms next to them. Beautiful. Pretty nice. This is a prickly pear cactus. It's called bunny ears. It's not native. This is a Puntia microdasis. Called bunny ears. It is a prickly pear cactus. Looks like it tried to flower this year. Get some pictures up here. It looks like it is getting fruit. It's pretty neat. So here we are. There's a little patch of white sage here. This part, some people might not be the most exciting part. You can always look at the views surrounding the area. More of a use trail here. Get someone around the corner, end up back down there. Now we got a native prickly. I think this is a native one. The thin pads on this suggest possibly this could be a Puntia occidentalis. Possibly. I'm gonna look at some of the spines to see what they're like in cross section. I really don't feel like pricking my finger too much today, though. It's kind of hard to tell. The spines are pretty small. Looks like they're flat. This might be a Puntia occidentalis. Possibly a Puntia vacii, I believe. We do have some, mostly on this side here of the preserve. Yeah, the car's way over there. I'm trying to explore as much as I can. Yeah, we're starting to get some more prickly pear cactus over here too. I think this might be a Puntia occidentalis. Again, possibly a Puntia vacii. And again, like I've seen a lot of times, when buckwheats and a lot of coastal sage-grown plants that are usually low-growing grow up along a fence, they can grow pretty tall. This is a foothill California buckwheat here again. Aragonum fasciculata variety foliolosum. And look how tall it is. It's about 8 at least 8 feet tall because it's growing along the fence. It's growing up the fence. Uses the fence as a support. Usually these things are only like 2 or 3, maybe 4 feet tall. But you get them along the fence. Sometimes California sagebrush does that too. I just had an orange-throated whiptail dart across my path. Of course, couldn't get footage of it. Dang it. I just had an orange-throated whiptail. I love those lizards. Those are so cool. Yeah. Definitely explored more of this than the first time. I think nearly every quadrant of this. Yeah. This is a pretty dope place to explore. Really had a good time. I don't even know what time it is. Let me see. I started at 5:30 this morning. It's 8:01. But they're still relatively nice. It's not all hot yet. There's a little slight movement in the air. We're back in this gulch right here. I'm going to look for a better crossing area. Cool place, man. Really glad I came here today. So we're going to cross the gully. Oh, this is an easy crossing here. I don't have to jump over anything. I'm here for a little over 2.5 hours for such a small parcel of land. This is definitely a W in my book. Pretty short day out here, but definitely a worthy little excursion. Very beautiful little parcel of land here. Another spiny redberry. Just very pleasurable. Alright. There's a pretty tall spiny redberry here. This spiny redberry is a little taller than me. Oh, so a few feet taller than me. Every now and then they seem quite large. Take this little upper route. See lots of bird paw prints, bird footprints all over the place. Oh, this spiny redberry's got some pretty large leaves on it. This one's got some pretty large leaves. Moisture locations they can. And of course, here's a drought deciduous, drought dormant Oasis family. The elder, blue elder, Sambucus cerulean. I think I did a pretty good job covering this place. I wasn't ready just to make a quick in and out. I got to start before the sun came up. About 20 minutes before sunrise. Sunrise was at 5:50, I think, this morning. There's something magical about this type of... Oh, a bunch of quail. Bunch of California quail. A gang of them. Look at that. Look at that. A whole gang of them. And they like to roll in packs. I'll tell you that. Those are California quail. And there's a mourning dove right here. Pretty good birding spot. But yeah, there's a bunch of California quail that just went into the sage scrub. cool. Alright, get a few more pictures. Head back to the car, unfortunately. On our last stretch back to the car. Kind of unfortunate, in my opinion, especially after an absolutely astonishingly peaceful morning. Look at this. I have a red gum right here, Eucalyptus comoduensis. Handsome tree. There is Hill 980. Takes center stage in this place, but that's far from the only attraction. Being here, far from the only attraction. Man, this was a lot of fun. So I stayed up, got up early, made sure I didn't fall back asleep like I sometimes do, as I've been so stupid tired. Definitely worth getting up early for this, beat the heat. This was more than worth it. I think I did a pretty thorough job exploring this area. That's what I wanted to do this time, as opposed to just race to the top and race back down. Alright, well, we got one lemonade berry here. We have one Rus integrifolia. Not much of that growing here either. I'm surprised. It's a pretty common plant in other places. We do have another one here, though. We do have another lemonade berry right here. We do have a couple of Rus integrifolias. And another one here behind the broombackers. Look at this toyon. Look at how many pomes it's got growing on it. These little berry-like pomes. This thing's gonna be laden. What do we have here? Cleveland sage? Yep. We got some Cleveland sage, also in summer dormancy. So that's 3 different sages here. Salvia clevelandii is this one here. We got Cleveland sage growing here too. I was going to look to check to see if it was purple sage, because purple sage is kind of similar looking. But once I caught the sweet whiff of it, I knew it was Cleveland sage before even examining it. We've got an African sumac here too, Cearcea lancea, which is actually a fairly close relative of lemonade berry and laurel sumac. And the 2 species of pepper tree I showed you. All Anacardiaceae. Nice place. Really glad I came here. So this is Wellington Hill Drive. I'm not sure what this becomes. This becomes a different street. But yeah, up here, where you get this little wide pull out, pull up there, start exploring. If you want to climb up to the hill, if you want to just explore a little bit around it. Very highly recommended short excursion out here in awesome Lakeside, San Diego County, California. So that's going to basically wrap it up for me. Hope you enjoyed coming along with me. Got to a summit, explored some slopes and some ravines, and had just a blast beating the heat today. And it's only a little bit after 8 right now. 10 after 8. All right. Well, thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it, and I'll see you on my next hike.